Hi, this is Everett, Everett's Watercolors. Welcome to my studio. Now today I'm going to do a simply drawing with Everett. I have another drawing. I'm going to draw a tree, but we're going to focus today on value study. I'm going to do a drawing, and I'm going to do a partial drawing, and then show you the values that I determined before I start the actual drawing or a painting. So value studies are very important. So let's show. I'm going to show you how I get started and how I do one. So let me go to my close-up camera and let me get started. Okay, well here's the tree I like. This is an old cypress tree. I don't know, probably the west coast. I don't know, someplace, but cypress tree. That's going to be my subject today. But you can notice here, when you look at a tree or any subject, you want to see the direction of light, the shadow. You can see here that this is top lit. If it's top lit, you can see the shadows right underneath the branches, right, coming straight down. That means the sun's up here, coming pointing. That's a top lit video right there, a top lit photograph right there. Now here's another one here. This is another tree. This is backlit. Means the light's behind the tree, and the tree is dark because of the light behind. It's kind of a shadow. It's like a shadow effect. Okay, and you can see that the shadow pattern is coming forward from the tree forward. So that means that the backlit will give you a forward-looking shadow, and it'll be darker because of the backlit effect of the light. So that's a backlit tree. And then I have one more. And this is what a front lit tree would look like. Now you have a darker background, which would be a stormy sky, be a dark sky in the background. Could be a night. It could be also a night scene with light shining on something. So you'd have a darker background with a lighter background on the actual subject. So here the light's hitting the top of these trees here in the foreground. So that this is a front lit trees. This is a front lit sketch or picture. And I should just show you. I'll just show you the backlit schedule. Well, today I'm going to do both. First of all, I'm going to do a value study to see which one would be the best. This is the top view. I know what it looks like here, but I'm going to do a sketch showing me how to maybe what a backlit view would look like, and then maybe a front lit view. So let's start with. I'm going to start with an area. I'm going to draw a strictly box, maybe about maybe about five, maybe 4x3 or 3x4 box here. Just start with something real small. And I'm going to do two of these, so I'll put another box down here. I'm going to do one with a backlit tree, and then one with the front lit tree. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to start here with the actual horizon line. It goes about, the horizon line is back here. It's water, so I'm going to put it back here, just below the middle line, just below the middle, not exactly in the middle. We'll put a little horizon line out there, and it's going to have, it's got a little shoreline, so it's going to come across here in the foreground. It's got a little shoreline, okay? So that's about it. You got sky, water, and ground. That's about it. And a tree. You have four elements in this particular drawing. So let me start with the sketch here. Now I notice I'm going to put the tree over here a little more to the, bearing to the left, away from the center. So I'll start about right here. I'm just going to follow the angles here of the actual branches. So I got a branch here, it comes out like this, and it has a secondary branch out here going out to the side, and this continues on, and this has a slope. And then I have a little angle here on this one. So I get the major branches in here, and we'll fill in the rest later. All right, then I come down here and I put in another large. Looking at the diagram here, looking at the photograph. This branch would come up here, and this also goes out to the side. And then this branch has a. Let's see, this one here comes down over here. There's another large branch of the trunk comes up here, and it right up really close to the horizon line, and then this comes up here, and there's another branch out here, smaller branches up there. That's just kind of get the idea. And then the next thing I do is I go ahead and I put in the foliage. Let's say the foliage here. This foliage here goes. There's a section over here. And it goes up to this branch over here, opening. And there's a clump at the top, smaller clump at the top. Put that in over here. And then there's another clump, a big clump here on this side. Okay, and I can adjust the sketch depending on when I finish up to the point here. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in the definition. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in. This got a larger branch, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in. I'm going to also darken it nice and dark because this is backlit, so I can have the trunks are going to be dark. This section here is also because it's similar to a backlit area because the sun is over top. So these branches, so I'm going to put those in there like that. The major branches, so I have a general idea what it's going to look like. As if I'm happy with the configuration and the design and so forth. I'm not going to do all the branches, just put the major ones in there that define the tree. This is a little bit wider. So now I'm adjusting the thickness of this of the trunk. This is also wide here at the bottom, this section. And it branches up and it gets smaller. Branches get smaller as they go out into the top. This has a lot more larger branches over here, so it'll go out to the side. There's this other section underneath here on the left side, right here. And it curls up nice and thick down here at the bottom for the base. This gets thicker out here. This little section gets thicker, and this one here goes out here and it goes up into the foliage. Okay. So this is backlit. I'm doing a backlit design here because this is my value study. The foliage would be dark also because you got the light behind the object. In this case, this tree would have a backlit area, so I'm going to make that darker than the sky, of course, because it's going to be in silhouette. This section comes a little bit more here, and this grouping of foliage goes over here. So I'm just kind of blocking it in, get an idea what it looks like. Just over here, so I have a few more branches coming down. Just an idea what it would look like. Those branches will be in silhouette, so it doesn't matter. It'll come down here a little bit more. Okay, then the sky is going to be light because that's going to be where the source. Now on the water, I'm going to make that a middle value. So it's flat, which means it's going to have a little reflection from the sky, but it's flatter. So I'm going to make that middle value. I'm just putting a little bit of value there on the water, across there. And I'm using a different stroke. I'm using a horizontal stroke for the water. Okay, it would have movement in the water, waves or whatever. Okay, and then now the shadow pattern is right underneath. You can see here, the shadow pattern is on a backlit is going to have that. Remember I showed you this backlit photo. See the backlit photo? You're going to have a shadow here in the foreground, right here. Backlit in the foreground. So it's very similar to the one here, except it's going to have it all the way across. So I'd have a backlit shadow on the ground. So this should be dark. So that will complete my value study now for the backlit. This is the backlit tree. I'll mark it here, backlit tree. Okay, now pretty well. I think it's simple. It's a simple sketch. but it gives you the values of the backlit. It gives you the trunks and the shadow pattern and so forth. And then you can adjust the values a little bit. Now you don't worry about color. The colors is different. That's a different issue. Right now we're just talking about values. Which is the light sky, medium value water. Be a light value also on the ground here because the light will be hitting the ground. But you got shadows on the ground from the tree, and you got the tree which is backlit because the sun's behind. So that's my value of that particular backlit tree. Now let's do it again one more time, and I'm going to do a front lit. This is the sun is forward, kind of like the afternoon if you're looking at a tree where the sun's behind you as you're looking at the tree. The sun is behind the viewer. So again, I'll start with the horizon line. Get that water across there. All right, and then get the ground. Same elements: sky, water, ground, and then tree. Okay. All right. Then we'll start putting the tree in. Now this is going to be forward lit, so we'll start putting in the angles here. This goes across the horizon line, and it goes up in reference to the horizon line. And then the trunk here is up above here. It's going to come up and across. And this part of the trunk is down here, and it curves up, crosses over. And this other trunk comes down here, and it's a little more vertical. There's another branch over there. There's another larger branch out here, and also has a branch over here. And it has a large branch here also. Okay. All right. Now, before I leave that, though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to put the actual structure in now. So now I'm going to build the thickness of the trunk. So this is all going to be lighter. And the limbs, of course, get smaller as they go out. This is thicker up here. And this is thicker here. And this one is going to be a little bit like this. A little section of the water shows through. And this big one out here is going to come a little bit closer to this section, so I'll bring that in. These branches will go out. These are a little bit wider here. Okay, then we draw in the foliage. The foliage will be about just above the water, so it'll be up here. Just drawing in the outline of the foliage, just like I did with the other one. I want it a little bit at the top. And this clump comes over here, comes on this side. And I'll put some more branches out here, just indicating that one. A little more definition. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to make the sky darker, because it could be a cloudy sky or it could be almost an evening sky, but it's going to be darker behind the tree because this is front lit. So everything behind is going to be darker. This part here, and this section in here is going to be darker. All these parts here that show the sky is going to be dark. I didn't want to darken that in right there. Leave that. That's the light. It's part of the foliage there. It's okay. Just so we get the main idea here. What we're doing is putting in the background behind the light. So by looking at a value study, we can see exactly what we're going to emphasize. The lights and the darks. And now I'm going to make the water light again. Or it's middle value. Middle value. It's going to be a little bit darker than the tree because it's front lit, so it's going to be light. It's going to be lighter in value. Don't forget. No, we're not worrying about color now. The colors can be chosen based on what you see, or you can come up with your own color scheme. You don't have to follow exactly the colors that are there. You can use them as a guide. And there is no shadow here because if backlit, the shadow would be behind the tree. So there's really not much to see there as far as shadow goes. I'm not going to emphasize the shadow on this one. Now what I can do is now I can really emphasize the dark. Now I can go down here to the horizon. Because even if this was even if the sun was still up, the darkness behind would be really dark at the horizon line, especially in a heavy cloud, or let's say it was a storm out there. This should be really dark here at the bottom. Then it gets a little darker as you go up. Not as dark at the top, but still it's going to be darker than the tree. But I'm just emphasizing the lights and darks. Okay, so that's a value. Now you can see the difference now. You can see the emphasis here. And of course you can make this a little more dramatic by putting a little more darkness in here. This will be probably a little more shadows up here in the top of this one. You can make it more dramatic. You can make the tree darker because it's going to be backlit, so it's going to be very dark. The dark shadow coming down on the ground. So you can see now. And now I'm going to title this one Front Lit. Front Lit Tree. So the backlit tree here has got a darker foliage and darker shadow, and down here on the front lit tree is going to have a lighter foliage and a lighter trunk because it's being front lit. And even the ground's going to be lighter because the light's here in the foreground. And then the background's going to be much darker. Okay, so that's two value studies now. So really, when we look at something, we got the photograph. That's top lit. The sun's coming down with a shadow on the ground, right below the tree, right here. That's top lit, because you can have shadows just underneath the branches. So everything up here is light, but it's going to be dark underneath the branches. Okay, or underneath the foliage right here. It's dark and light's right here. And then when we go to the backlit, we're going to have a dark foliage, dark trunk, and dark shadow. And if we go to the front lit, you're going to have a light trunks, light foliage, and a light foreground. So that would give you three versions of the same tree. You can take a scene like this is what I like to do. Take a scene and paint it three kinds of ways. Do it with a top lit tree. I can do one with a backlit tree with behind, and I can show one with a foreground with the front lit tree. And that makes one painting out of one photograph. Can give you a nice variety. You can change the colors, make it a variety of colors. Don't have to follow the photograph exactly, which is what I like to do anyway. So that's an example of what's important when you do a value study. And I do a value study before I do a painting, but also I do a value study when I do a drawing, because I want to know if I'm going to add darks and lights in the foreground or darks and lights in the background. So it's a good way to analyze your drawing and painting before you get started. And a quick little sketch. I didn't make these very large. They're like a 3x4, little 3x4 sketch of an actual painting, or actual photograph. Doesn't take that long. Okay, so let's go back to my main camera. Hey, well, Everett's Simply Drawing. Have another nice day today. Nice, lots of fun. Value studies. I do value studies on just about every painting and every drawing that I do. Now, if I know something, if I've done it enough times and very familiar with it, I may not have a value study that I go to, but I have it in my mind. I've done it before. So, but I do a value study on a painting, so I want to know where those darks and lights are, and which would be the most effective way to paint. And then I worry about the colors and so forth after that. So the value study is a very important step. So that's why I want to show that today, a simple way of analyzing a drawing or a painting before you get started. So that's my lesson and helpful hint today. So I'll be back again next week with another Simply Drawing with Everett on Thursday. And I have Everett's Watercolors. I do a painting on Thursday also. And on weekends, anyone can draw with one line only. I do a simple one-line drawing also on weekends. So if you subscribe to my channel, you'll be notified of all those videos. I have over 900 videos on YouTube. And you can have a lot of fun going in there and looking at all kinds of stuff. Until next week, you all stay safe. Please subscribe. Give me a like and a thumbs up. I appreciate that. It helps in my rating. So I'll see you next week. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.